On the question before us, the yeas are 65, the nays 31. The motion to concur in the House Amendment to Senate Amendment to House Resolution 2965 is adopted.
Brianna, they picked up two more votes. 65-31, it passes.
They picked up two more votes. I'm actually still in the process of trying to figure out exactly who those two votes are, in fact, Drew, because I was talking to you as some of the roll call was being called there. But, you know, just to point, you know what, actually, let's listen. Let's go ahead and listen to what Senate Majority Leader Reid.
So we would hope at or near 2 o'clock to have a series of at least 3 votes. And today, as we indicated earlier, we're basically through here today, except for wrap-up.
Okay, so Drew.
Yeah, we do have that. Yeah. Minor technicality.
Okay, Drew. So I think they're actually going to be moving on to some other things. They're going to be moving on to deal with the START treaty, that nuclear arms reduction treaty with Russia. But this is the wrap-up here, 65-31 on Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I should tell you that we're expecting momentarily a press conference from the co-sponsors on this bill, Joe Lieberman, who is an independent but caucuses with the Democrats, and Susan Collins, one of the Republicans who, I mean, obviously voted with the several Republicans who were on board here. But yeah, 2 more votes were picked up, and this continues to be a very contentious issue. You heard Barbara talking about some of the concerns, certainly in the Marine Corps, and there is that concern that Senator John McCain has, that he's afraid this is going to be a distraction that costs lives. What we're going to be hearing from Senator Lieberman and Senator Collins is that they feel like it's kind of about time, that this is righting a wrong, and that this is a discrimination that has been sanctioned within the U.S. military, and that it needs to end. Barbara mentioned some of the activity that's been going on in the courts. As you know, Drew, the legislature is not really a branch of government that really wants to abdicate any of its power to the courts. And that's part of the reason why this has moved forward and why this has been a relatively bipartisan effort.
Right. Brianna, thanks for that. We'll stick with you, too. I want to get over to Kate, though, who is at the White House. Kate, they couldn't cheer in the gallery in the Senate, but do you hear any pots and pans banging inside that White House when that thing went down? Finally, President Obama gets at least one break.
It may be quiet. I am outside, and those White House walls can be very thick, but I'm sure you can imagine there are a lot of happy people and smiling faces within this administration right now. It seems at this moment, at least, and we'll see how things turn out in the final days of the 111th Congress, but this is 2 for 3 for this president. He got that very big tax cut deal in the Bush-era tax cuts, and then now this. And this is President Obama, he issued a statement after the procedural vote earlier today, Drew. In that procedural vote, he even called a historic step, saying that it is time to, as he said, it's time to close this chapter in our history. Well, at least from the perspective of this White House and this administration, it seems that they have done just that in finally seeing passage of the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I expect we'll get a statement from the White House soon. Hasn't popped into my BlackBerry yet, but we can assume that the president will want to get to signing this repeal as soon as possible, but I wouldn't think it's unlikely that it would be today in the very least. So this is a very big moment for this president, not only as a supporter of repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy in the military, but also because this was a very big campaign promise, a vow that the president took starting all the way back on the campaign trail, his presidential campaign trail, Drew, where he said he would repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And over the past couple of years, it has become a source of tension and a bit of frustration with the gay and lesbian community, who thought that President Obama had kind of turned a blind eye to what he had promised on the campaign trail as they had supported him in his presidential bid. So this is a very big moment for this White House, you can imagine, on this chilly Saturday morning. All
right, Kate, thanks a lot. Hey, Barbara Starr, I just want to get your thoughts. It is rather historic. And Barbara, I want to pick up on what the opposition was talking about, that somehow or another that the fighting soldiers would be distracted by all this. It comes to my attention that the fighting soldiers that I know, when they're fighting, aren't distracted about anything. I just wonder what your thoughts are on that, whether or not Because you've
Well,
been
you
to
know,
Afghanistan many, many, many times
Yeah,
and
you know, you
have been
asked-
so close to these military folks.
I think you're right, Drew. You know, we came back from Afghanistan just a few weeks ago, and you ask anybody who's out there in the war zone about this, and they look at you like you have two heads and say, sorry, I haven't even given it much thought out here. I'm a little busy. This is not a front and center issue for them. I must tell you, I've just received on my BlackBerry, as we do these days in the news media, a statement from Defense Secretary Robert Gates saying, in part, I welcome today's vote by the Senate clearing the way for a legislative repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He goes on to say, once the legislation is signed into law by the president, the Pentagon will proceed immediately with the planning necessary to carry this out. And let me remind everybody, what the Secretary is talking about is the law that was passed just now. It will be signed into law by the president. The Pentagon will then spend some period of months getting ready for it, doing the policies, the regulations, everything that needs to be done. They will then certify, and the President, the Secretary of Defense, and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff will have to certify to Congress that the military is ready for this, that it will not impact military readiness, that the military can cope with it, and 60 days after that certification, once and for all, Don't Ask, Don't Tell is gone. Drew?
All right, Barbara Starr, thank you so much. Let's get right back to the White House. There's been some reaction coming out of there. Kate Baldwin?
As a sign of the times, some of the first reaction or first information we're getting out of this White House comes from a tweet by White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs, Drew. And going off the point of Barbara's talking about, there is this process that must go into place to actually have the repeal take effect. To get that ball rolling, the president needs to sign this repeal. And according to Robert Gibbs's tweet, it says the president is to sign the new law next week. So there's our first initial guidance of when we could see a signing, maybe a signing ceremony, or maybe it will be a quieter ceremony. But regardless, we'll see this repeal signed.